5 o'clock on a Wednesday, and it's time for
Craig and Ryland Magic Review Show.
I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
Welcome back to another review show right here on
Magic TV.
Absolutely, and welcome back to another review show. We are going to be looking at 4 new items and give you our raw, unfiltered opinion, aren't we?
Yes.
And we're recording. We perform as we do every week. We're performing every single trick that we review, which we always do. And today, I can't remember the last time this happened. I'm doing 3 of the performances. You're doing 1. Normally, I take the lazy approach to this, but now he's too busy rehearsing his illusion show, doesn't have time to do this anymore, so I'm having the one that makes the heavy lifting. It's not fair. But we're going to get straight into it, aren't we?
Yes.
We're very excited. We're going to get straight into it with the first trick. So first rhyme, we have Namedropper by John Graham. Fancy packaging from our friends at
Nice.
Vanishing Ink. Namedropper by John Graham. So this is John's... If you don't know who John Graham is, he wrote a fantastic book published a couple of years ago, Stage by Stage. And it was all about performing on stage. You should read it. And it's a great book, fantastic book. And this is one of the routines that was talked about in the book. And it's been published as a standalone trick. It's called Namedropper. And if you know the Anything deck by Paul Harris, which later got released as, I think the latest iteration is Deep X. That's basically, this is John Graham's approach to Paul Harris's Anything deck, basically, is what we have here. If you don't know what that is, you're about to see a performance. I performed this to Ryland behind the camera. Bear in mind, nothing is set up here. This is not set up in any way, shape or form. It genuinely can be any name, because I've performed this to a magician recently and he said, oh, it must be made up. He didn't know the method. So it's not made up. I'm going to perform it to Ryland, and then you're going to see exactly what it is, and then we'll come back and talk to you about what we think. Right. This is not a card trick.
Is it not?
I feel the need to point this out to you for
Looks
3
a little bit
reasons.
like a card trick.
Yeah, well, I need to point it out to you for 3 reasons. 1, I'm using a deck of cards. 2, I'm shuffling the cards at the beginning of the trick. And 3, I'm going to have you pick a card. I'll even throw in a 4th. I'm going to try and find that card and tell you what the card is.
Yeah.
But it's not a card trick.
What?
This is a way for me to prove to you I know what you're going to do before you
Sounds
do
like
it.
a card trick, you know.
It's not a card trick.
Sounds like one.
It's not a card trick. It's
Really?
not a card trick, Ryland. Now, before I get you to pick a card, I also have cards from a different deck here. These are from a red back deck. Now, I've written on the back of them. I'll show you what's on this one and this one. It's a sort of speech marks, quotation marks. There's something written on the other cards in the middle. We'll get back to that later on. But you're going to pick a card, buddy. So as I go through, just say stop anytime.
Stop.
There? You sure?
Yep.
Perfect. So I don't want to see what that card is. I would like you to look at it. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And think about it. You could have stopped anywhere, couldn't you?
Yeah.
But you stopped right here. I'm going to give you a little peekaboo at that card. Can you have a look at it?
Yeah.
You got it?
I got it.
Got to remember the card.
Got it.
Got it? Cool. I'll put it inside the card box so I can't see it. We'll get back to it in a minute. Okay?
Yes.
Cool beans? Mm-hmm. Cool beans. So, I'll tell you the other thing I'll do as well. I'll put the red cards under the box to keep them safe. All right?
Yes.
So, what I want you to do is I want you to think of one of your best friends in the world.
Okay.
You got somebody?
Yes.
Here you go.
I was thinking of someone else, but then it's like, I'm like, that's kind of obvious, so I'm thinking of another one. Is Max.
Max, okay. Is that like a friend from school or?
Yep.
From school.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to use Max to try and work out what your card is. I'm going to take certain cards out. This card here, you see the 10 of clubs? Mm-hmm. Do you know what this 10 of clubs tells me?
What?
This 10 of clubs tells me that your card...
What does it tell you?
It tells me that your card was a black card, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if we can go one step further. This card here tells me that your card was a club.
How did it do that?
It's just very, very cool how it works. Am I right?
Yes. Strangely.
What is this one? Yeah, you know what this one tells me?
What?
Believe it or not, this card actually tells me the identity of your card in the box.
Really?
Yeah. Seriously. Do you want me to prove it to you?
Yeah.
Your card, my little friend, is the 4 of clubs. Am I right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. How good
Don't
is
know how
that?
you did that.
Well, hang on, let me show you. Result.
Wow.
It's not bad, right?
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty good, right? But you're probably wondering, what about these cards? These have been here the whole time. I showed you that they've got quotation marks on them. I didn't show you, did I? No. What was on them? Would you like to see?
Yes.
Well, here's the weird thing, and this really is weird. You know why?
Why?
Because this one is an M. This one is an A. And this one is an X. And you thought of Max. How good's that?
It's pretty cool.
So, right,
Yeah.
Namedropper. In essence, what you have here is you have a deck of cards, but it's not a card trick, like you saw in the performance there.
Yeah.
You're starting off with a card trick, but in essence, the picking of the card or the selection of the playing card is a presentational ploy to have your kicker ending being
Finding the name.
the name being written on the cards in the different deck from the beginning. That's the kind of the money shot, and that's what Paul Harris first created with the Anything deck. It was the whole idea of kind of having that moment, right?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the time when you, Paul has come up with lots of different versions of the Anything deck, but all of them pretty much exclusively have that moment where you're having to spread the cards out face up with the faces towards the audience so that you can look at the backs. This method has eliminated that. In order to eliminate that, however, and it's worth talking about this, you do have to memorize every single, you have to memorize, because you're going to get access to the letters in a particular way, and you have to memorize basically where all the letters.
What happens if it's a name with like more than one letter?
Well, there's two letters.
I mean,
you can there's two letters. There's two of each letter. It's not an issue. I don't think you'd ever find an issue there, especially as it's just a first name. So I don't think that's a problem, really, to be perfectly honest. But obviously, you do have to memorize that. Now, if you don't want to memorize it, they do give you a kind of an interesting crib, which is printed on a card, and it's basically rules for doing magic and rules for watching magic. And it looks like like 13 rules for doing magic and 13 rules for watching magic. And the whole idea is, if you forget the crib, or you forget the memorization, you can have this crib to one side, which you've introduced at the beginning, and then you can read it and you go, don't forget about rule number 5 of doing magic. Don't forget their names. Okay, and that's going to basically tell you what you need to know in order to be able to kind of get back on track. So you have got a crib. Which is very clever the way they've put this together. It's a little bit contrived, but it works. So it means that you can kind of get away from the memory side of things. I mean, the thing that you need to understand is the deck is not examinable at all. Yeah. The deck of cards really, I don't think I'm giving anything away here when I say that the deck of cards is being used as an open index. So there's no indexes on your body, there's no indexes in your pocket. The deck is being used as an open index. So during the course of finding the card that they've picked, you're actually putting yourself into a position where you're getting what you need in order to do the finale. This is all about the finale. Yeah. I actually do prefer the way that this is done with Deep X, the way that John Graham does it, where he puts the red back deck under the card box. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that it would fly 100%. I do, however, think Paul's method with Deep X, where he's actually got a wallet that's on display the entire time, I actually think that's a better way of doing it.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if like you have to do this, but I don't really like it probably like you have to do it to do the trick, obviously.
Go on.
Strange. You have to do it to do the trick, obviously, but I don't like the way that you've got to get the crib. So it's like, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take out this card. Now this card tells me that it's blah, and this card tells me it's blah. And out of these two, this one tells me it's blah, and then that's about
okay. So he does go through in the tutorial about ways to kind of manage that, but basically that is the method. Yeah, so there's no way around that. You do have to shift certain cards to the top.
It just doesn't make sense in the routine.
Yeah, unless you're incredible at culling secretly, you're having seat-related problems.
Yep.
Unless you're incredible at calling, you're going to have that problem. That issue is going to be there. I mean, when you see John Graham perform this, it doesn't feel like it's a big issue because he's doing it as, right, okay, this card here tells me it's a red card or a black card. And he's kind of I think you can present it in a very funny way. And I think it works. But obviously, there's kind of no getting around that. You have to go through and take out certain cards in order to make this work. It's good. I'm not going to do it. If I was ever going to do a version of this, I would use Deepex. Or I do have my own version, which will see print at some point in the future, which means that you can use effectively a regular deck of cards to be able to do this, and you've not got a gimmick deck in play. Because that's the other thing you need to consider. This deck of cards can't be used for anything else other than this trick. So if you want to do this trick, you need to bring the deck out to do this trick. You need the wallet, you need everything. That's included in this, the wallet, the deck, everything's included in here. But this deck can't be used for anything else without a deck switch. The deck is being used specifically to create this. So if you like the idea of having a finale and you've seen Deepex and you go, well, you know what, I actually prefer this to Deepex, go for it. I think it's a good trick. I think it's, deservedly of release, but I'm not going to do it. And I actually think Deepex is better by Paul Knight and Paul Harris. So I'm going to give this 70%. It's not bad. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. And John Graham, again, read his book. It's incredible. But for me, this is not the strongest version of this plot. 70%. What about you?
I'm going to give it... do you know I'm going to agree with you on the 70%?
70%?
Yeah.
Yeah, 70% from Ryland. 70%. I knew you wouldn't. This is not your sort of trick at all.
No.
70% from me, 70% from Ryland. We're going to move on now with a really highly anticipated trick. Let's check this one out. So next up, Rye, we have a trick that's not cheap. This is over £100 for a close-up trick. And this is Leap Plus. Now, Leap Plus is a version of Leap, or an extension of Leap. Leap came out a few years ago, never had Leap, but Leap Plus is the new version. And basically, what Leap is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to have a coin vanish and appear inside a glass that's resting on top of a pack of cards.
Yeah.
That's basically what Leap Plus.
That's what the effect is.
That's what the effect is. Now you can have it. You can do like is it a Cupcake sort of thing? You can kind of do a version where you've got a little shot glass that's on top of the glass, that's on top of the deck, and then the glass goes on top of the deck, and it disappears and it appears inside the glass. You can do that. Absolutely, that's fine. But the effect is the coin is going to disappear and it's going to appear in the glass.
Yeah.
Now,
that's what it is.
you're going to see a performance of Ryland doing this now. You do two tricks. I do two, you do two. You perform this one as well. So you're going to see Ryland perform this. Now, you actually put together a three-phase routine. The tutorial, just so you guys
What
know.
are my two tricks?
Leap Plus and the other one that we were reviewing later on.
Oh, okay. For a minute, the other one was like,
No.
you definitely did the other one.
Can we focus?
Yeah.
So,
focus.
you're going to see Ryland do this. This is you put together a three-phase routine with this. So the tutorial is just going to teach you to put a glass on top of a deck, vanish a coin, and make it go into the glass.
Yeah.
But you kind of built a couple of phases up before that, didn't you? And we'll talk about why you did that in a bit, but you'll see the first phase is a penetration through the bottom using sleight of hand. Then he introduces the card case, he puts the card case on top of the deck and penetrates it through. And then the final phase is Leap 2. I tell you that because this is not taught in the tutorial. The first two phases are yours. The final phase is what you're actually getting.
Yeah.
But have a look at this performance and then we'll discuss what we think. Now, there's a lot to unpack with this, right? So, first of all, my issue, which you solved, by the way, really, really well, my issue with this is the same issue I have with a lot of these things, which is, why are you putting a glass on top of a deck of cards?
Yeah.
Why is that happening?
What is the main question of Magic? Why are you doing it?
Yeah, why are you doing it? What is the reason for that? I'm going to show you this coin vanish and appear underneath this glass. I'm just going to put it onto this deck of cards. Really? Why are you doing that?
You can't examine this deck of cards. Like,
you can't examine the deck at all.
You're not allowed to touch it, because if you even just touch it on one job, you'll mess it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But my biggest issue with this when I first looked at it is, well, you know, what's the point of doing this? You're having to put the glass on a deck of cards. Now, the tutorial doesn't really cover this, but I said this to you, and you were like, well, let's make this the finale of a longer routine. And that's why you did that 3-phase routine, wasn't it? So the first phase, there's no deck of cards. You're showing that the coin goes through the glass. Then the second phase, you're introducing the deck just to cover the top of the glass so it looks more impossible. And because the deck of cards is already in play, it makes sense to turn that over and put it on top of the glass so you can then do to the final phase. So that kind of solves my issue with this. That's not included in the tutorial, but that does solve the issue with it in terms of that. My problem with this, and I've got a few problems with it actually, but one of my big problems is it's kind of just one coin. It's one phase and you're done. Now, you do, in your stage act, a version of this with a book.
Yeah.
Where, and
It's
you
the
do...
same. It's the same.
It's a very similar sort of thing where you've got a book and you have a glass and you have a glass on stage, but it's 4 coins, isn't it? Like the coins are going across one at a time.
Yeah.
It's 4 coins. And because it's 4 coins, you're kind of building up. Each phase becomes more impressive, and you're doing it to music. But with this, it's only one phase.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to question, is this as good as vanishing a coin and just making it drop in the glass by sleight of hand? You could argue it is, you could argue it's not, but it's a lot to carry around to do one moment of magic. Like Ryland says, you've got to carry around a complete gimmick deck. Now, when you're performing on stage, you bring that book out as if it's a spell book, you put it down, and it serves a purpose, and then everyone forgets about it, it's just there on your table. With this, you have to bring a deck of cards out, so you have to have an entire pocket dedicated to this trick, because you're going to have to carry around a glass, you're going to have to carry around a deck of cards, you're going to have to carry around a coin, just to do this trick. That's the first thing you need to consider. And I don't know if it's a strong enough moment of magic to justify carrying all this stuff around, especially as there's no... It's not like you can do something with the deck and then you can go into this trick. You can't. The deck, like you said, is gimmick to hell.
Gimmick, yeah. Really.
Like, you can't open it, you can't even show that there's a deck of cards in it. And they, like you said, they can't even pick it up. And then you have to carry, I don't think we're giving too much away by saying it's remote control. So you have to carry a remote control around with you, and you have to think of the choreography of pressing the remote control in order to fire the gimmick off. That's something else to consider. Now, on the tutorial, they talk about how this is a signed coin. And how they suggest it's a signed coin is that you have a coin signed, pre-signed by you on both sides. They sign a coin one side, you sign a coin the other side. And you switch it under the card box as you put the signed coin over there. And then secretly, as you show the card box, you load the coin into the card box in full view of the audience, but behind the card box. Huh?
That makes sense.
It does make sense. And then that way, it's a signed coin. I like that. I struggle to load a coin in this card box. You seem to be able to do it fairly easily.
No, because once you've set the gimmick up, so once you press the coin and it's stuck in, you can then just do that and the coin will fall out. And then you don't have to push it in, you literally just drop it and it slides in easily.
Ah, okay, so you could do that.
Yeah.
Right, okay, good.
So
right.
it's already set, all you gotta do is this, just literally drop it in.
Okay, so I'm glad you're here with this review, because I would have given it a bad review based on inaccurate information. This is why Ryland's here, to make me look good. So you could have that set, so that is doable, where you have the coin signed, put it over there.
When you turn the
sign.
card box up, you just slide it above the gimmick, drop it in,
Yep.
and then you would close the flap and place it on the table.
Okay,
And then we'd
cool.
see that.
And then it's a signed coin.
Yeah.
And so you can take the signed coin and you can go watch, and it'll go into the glass. The doing is me doing the coin.
Ba-doing.
Doing. Thank you. When that's happened, the coin is examinable. The Glass is examinable. The deck is not examinable, nor is it usable for anything else. I mean, it looks good. It's reliable. We tested it a few times. It fires every single time. We had the, before you started using the book, which you now use by the Ideas Lab, we tried for a while the Viking Magic kind of version with the little round tray. And that always used to fail, didn't it? Like, you did that in a couple of shows and it just failed. And we're like, no, which is why we switched to Clonk for a long time. And the book that you now use is made by the same people that make Clonk, so it's reliable. We know how bad it is when something doesn't work and it's not reliable. We've tested this a few times.
On stage, when it's not works, it's like if it's, the way we're doing it is like 3 strikes you're out.
Yeah, that's our attitude. If something doesn't work 3 times in a row, see you later. You're not in the show anymore. We don't take that approach with Thea. Thea's in the show forever.
Please don't take that.
I love that kid. So the point is, what you need to understand is this is reliable. We've tested it over and over again. Look, I don't know, I'm not going to do this, and the reason I'm not going to do this is I am quite good with coin magic and sleight of hand. It's one of the only things I am good at. Yeah, you're good as well. So because of that, I have ways of actually doing something that feels very similar to this without actually needing to use a gimmicked deck. And if I was going to carry a gimmick deck around with me that involved doing stuff with the glass, I would probably use Flight Case 2 or Flight Deck 2 by Kennedy, because that has so many more options in terms of performing. With this, it's one shot and you're done. So I wouldn't do this. There's other ways I can achieve the same thing. Having said that, it does what it says on the tin. If you want to make a coin, a signed coin, vanish and appear in a glass on top of a deck of cards, this is absolutely a way that you can do this.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not going to do this. I'd consider doing it on stage, but I think one coin isn't enough. So if I was going to do it on stage, I'd do it the way you do it. Yeah. Or I'd use that little table over there, which is basically the same thing. But as it stands, I'm going to give it 60%. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. It's just, I think it's a little bit overpriced for what it is. It's one coin and you're done. It's good. It works. It's just not for me. What about you?
50%.
50%. 50% from Ryland, 60% from me. Two kind of things that we've been a bit underwhelmed with. Let's see what comes up next. So we're now going to go on to another trick. And honestly, I think this is frizicking amazeballs. I'll tell you right now, I think this is great. This is Cupcake 2 by Bacon Magic. And we picked this up at Blackpool Magic Convention, but it's available through most magic dealers. There's a version, there's a pro version, there's a normal version, there's a gold version, there's lots of different versions. But basically what Cupcake 2 is it looks like a little black shot glass. But in reality, what this is it is an incredible chop cup. Kind of slightly bigger than a mini chop cup. You get 3 little monkey balls with it, which are the little red balls that are like, So you get 3 monkey balls with it, 1 chopped, 2 non-chopped. And these monkey balls that you get with it are perfectly weighted. The thing with the chop cup, and you do chop cup, so you know this.
I swear to God we reviewed this.
No, we didn't, Ryland. We started this review show about a week ago, and then the stand kept going down and down and down and down and down, and we gave up halfway through because we ended up just filming the table. And then we had to buy a completely new stand and setup because that was, what's the word? Oh yes, buggered. So now we're repeating ourselves because we have already reviewed this, but when we filmed it, we were recording the table. So, should we carry on?
Yes.
Yes. When you're doing a chop cup, and both you and I do chop cup, the important thing is getting the consistency correct so that you don't, I hate seeing people, my pet hate is seeing people go "Kudum," and banging the cup on the table so hard, it's on "Kudum, kudum." So, with Cupcake, it's the perfect weight. It's absolutely the perfect weight. So you get these 3 balls with it. You get the bag to keep it in. You get the little black cup or whatever colour that you've got. And it works amazingly. In fact, I have a performance of the chop cup routine that we're going to see now because we filmed the chop cup routine. So let's have a look at this. This is just a really simple chop cup routine that I've been playing around with. Now, if you were in front of the camera, buddy, I could let you examine this. You're not. So I'm going to tell you right now, this is a little black cup. And this is a little red ball. Now the ball goes into the cup. If you were here, you could examine the ball, examine the cup, make sure the ball goes into the cup, make sure the ball comes out the cup, make sure there's no holes in the ball, make sure there's no holes in the cup, make sure there's no wires, no magnets, no trapdoors, no secret compartments. You could examine all of this, but right now, my friend, you're just going to have to trust me. Now the idea is for me to get the ball from the hand underneath the cup. It looks something like that. See, you might have missed that. Most people do. The idea is for me to get this ball underneath this cup without you catching me. Now, the idea is that I squeeze the cup, squeeze the ball, do that. When I do, that's where it goes right there underneath the cup. Are you following this? Is this making any sense, right?
Not really.
Probably not, no. There's actually a hole in the bottom of the cup. Can you see that hole right there? There's a hole right there, which means that you can put the ball in and it's going to drop right through. That's how it works, you see. Just don't tell anybody. It's our little secret. When you know where the hole is, you can just let it go whoop, straight down into the cup. Now, if I want to, I can take the ball, I can throw the ball up in the air, it can do 6 somersaults and it can land under the cup, or I can take the ball and I can put the ball in my pocket, snap my fingers and have the ball go under the cup. I can keep doing this all day. But I know that you, my friend, you want a big finish, don't you?
Yeah.
You aren't going to be happy with me snapping my fingers and constantly getting the ball in there. You want a huge finish, don't you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the ball in my pocket and I want to show you that there is absolutely nothing underneath the cup. Is that fair?
Yes.
Now watch, 1, 2, 3, and that's where the ball goes right. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, and that's when the ball go. 1, 2, 3. Do you know what the problem is? I keep snapping too hard. When that happens, you get a much bigger ball. It gets stuck right there inside the cup. I don't know if you can see that. That is absolutely huge. Not only is it a massive ball, it's actually changed its consistency to sponge. Of course, the trick still works the same, but because it's now a spongy ball, I can do that and have it go in, but it's going to get trapped inside again. You'll know how it works. It uses 2 balls, but don't tell anyone. That's the trick with 2 balls, a cup, and that, if I turn that way, that looks a bit rude, so we're not going to do that. In fact, we'll put it away, and we'll just say thank you for watching. My name's Craig, this is Magic TV, that was Cupcake by Making Magic, and that looks absolutely nothing like what some people here behind the camera think it looks like. That's a great routine.
Yeah.
Really simple. I do love the fact that if you use a sponge ball as a final load, it gets stuck in the cup. It looks so impressive. It's the perfect size to load in, but then the cup holds it in place. And then when you bang it, it's not going to come out, and then you can reach in and take it out. So if you're a sponge ball magician, you can actually use this to transition into sponge balls. But the other thing that Cupcake's got built into it, as well as all of the fun stuff with the Chop Cup, it's also got a slot box built into it. So there's a slot at the bottom of the Chop Cup, which will hold a coin back. So you can literally, with the same prop, I could be doing some coin magic, then I could take out this little cup and I could start doing coin routines with it. And then I could put the coins away, produce a little red ball and do Chop Cup with it. One prop,
Very nice.
2 uses. And I actually filmed a little video as well of what you can do with the coins. So let me show you that video as well. Ryland, if you were here, you could examine this, but this is just a little black cup, yeah?
Yep.
And there's 4 coins, 1, 2, 3, 4 coins. If you were here, you could examine the coins, you could examine the cup. Now, the idea is the coins go into the cup like that, right?
Yep.
That's not magic, that's obvious. And when I tip them this way, the coins come out the cup, right?
Yep.
4 coins, 1 cup, and a whole bunch of magic. Now, watch this. We're going to try and do this one at a time, starting... Whoop, there we go. Let's do that again. We're going to do this one at a time. All I have to do is take the first coin and do this. And believe it or not, now I've just got 3 coins there. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. And the reason is that's the first coin right there through the cup. Impressive? So I do it again, because you might have missed it. So I'll do it again. Look, 3 coins left. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. Don't worry about these 2. Watch this one, because this one, all I do is listen, listen, listen. You'll hear it drop right there onto the coin that's underneath the table. So now we have 2 in the cup, 2 out the cup. Let's do it again. Now, right, tell me if you hear this. That's coin number 1. That's coin number 2. Did you hear the clink?
Yes.
Well, that's actually the sound of the next coin going right here underneath the cup. That's 1, 2, 3. Now, to be clear, that's the first coin, that's the second coin, that's the third coin. 3 coins in the cup, 1, 2, 3. If you were here, you could put your hand on top. I would then take this final coin. I would make this final coin vanish from here into the cup. Now remember, your hand's on top of it. The coin goes nowhere near here. So even if I had it going up my sleeve, that wouldn't help. But if when I do this and this, it's done. That's when that final coin vanishes completely, and you're not going to believe this. But that is all 4 coins. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 coins, and a cup, and a whole bunch of magic. Now, what you need to understand, right, with this is that the slot works brilliantly. I've seen some slot boxes where things are just not very good.
Yeah.
This slot box works great. So it's not a slot box. This slot cup works brilliantly. It holds the coin back just perfectly. There's so many routines you can do just with that function. But then you add the chop cup function into it. This is my new favourite thing. It's in my close-up case. I carry it with me all the time. I love it, and I'm planning on using it a lot more. What do you think of this?
I like it. It's very good.
You like it? It's very good.
Yes.
This is why Ryland's on the review show, for the insights like that. That's why he's here, people. He's here, not for the cute facts. He's not cute anymore. He's 12. He's here purely because there's nobody that gives better insights about the tricks that you want to know than Ryland. I like it. I like it a lot.
It's very good.
It's very good. You want to say something else? Would you use it? Because you do cups and balls in your show, and you've got Grum's Chop Cup. I know you like Chop Cup as well. Would you use it?
I'd probably stick with Grum because I never do.
Speak up.
Huh?
Speak up.
I think I'm losing my voice in my phone.
I know you are, so speak up.
I
Confidence in.
can't.
Carry on.
So I use the Grum Chop Cup a lot, and it's basically the same as this, but apart from the fact that there's a slot box. But I don't use slot boxes because I'm not very good at them. So I'm probably just going to stick to my Grum one. So it's very good. I would recommend it, and I'm going to give it 79%.
But you're not going to do it.
No.
You're loyal to Ari Phillips. He's the guy who...
I know.
Good. Okay. I am going to use this, even though I carry around a Sharpie with me for my chop routine all of the time, and I can literally do chop cup routines with a borrowed cup anytime, anywhere. I love the idea that this takes up no space in my pocket. I can do a bunch of coin routines with it, and then I can transition straight into a chop cup routine with it seamlessly. I've got this lovely little 7-minute set that I'm doing with it at the moment, and I'm so happy with that. And I'll tell you the other thing that I love about this. Ryland will sit here for hours practicing stage magic. He will sit here for hours, he will stand here for hours pretending to float a balloon. I am exactly the same, but with close-up magic. I love practicing close-up magic. And this is fun to practice. This is just so fun. Because there's so many different things that you can do with it, and there's so many different uses of it. Yeah. This is just a really fun prop. You know, I will sit here at night when you're in bed, down in my man cave. I will get my little cupcake out. I'll throw some coins on the table. I'll get my balls out, and I'll put my balls on the table as well. And I'll just be playing with my balls and my cup and my coins all night. I'll just be, you know, doing things with the balls and with the cups and with that. And I'll be doing it all night while you're in bed sleeping. I'm playing with my balls, which is why I'm... What's the matter?
You're going to play with your balls?
Yeah. On this table, which is why I'm giving this 100%. I think it's brilliant. I love it. 79% from Ryland, 100% from me. Let's move on. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you anything about this. I just want you to watch the performance. This is a kind of a weird effect. So I'm not going to say anything about it. Let's have a look at the performance of it, and then we'll talk about what we think. So, Ryan,
Yes.
In essence, and you can talk all about this because you're the one that learnt it. In essence, they just saw the performance. You got 2 cups tied together with a piece of string. Mm-hmm. You have a coin. You show the cups are empty. You drop the cup in the one. You drop the coin in the one cup. They can hear it in there. You go shkaboom. It falls out the other cup as if it's like teleported down the string, and the cups are empty. It's very fooling.
It's very fooling.
Very, very fooling. Like when I saw this, I was like, I was like a cartoon character. I was like, I couldn't really, I was like fooled. I was like, I don't know how this works. This is weird. When I learned how it works, I was very blown away. The method is very clever.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do. Normally coin magic is quite tricky because you have to be able to palm the coin. Even the simplest coin routines in the world require you to palm a coin. This has no palming. There's no palming. You can make a coin jump from here to here with no palming whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to do. If you can hold, as long as you hold the cups correctly and you pull the string when you meant to pull the string, it works. So, plus points. It's very fooling. It's very easy to do, which is great. You technically could borrow a coin if you wanted to. You couldn't have the coin signed. And I love the fact that it's the old cups attached to a piece of string, because that's got an interesting hook to it. I know you did it to music, but it's got an interesting hook to it. You can talk about how you and your sister used to speak to each other on 2 cups and a piece of string or whatever. There's lots of that. So there's a lot going for it, but there are things that are going against it that you need to know. Number one, it's not examinable.
Yeah.
At all in any way, stretch or form,
You
shape
can
or
show
form.
the inside of the cups.
You can show the inside of the cups before and after, but they couldn't pick the cups up and look at it. If they did, they'd realise how it works. Okay, so that's something that you need to bear in mind. Second of all, it's not an instant reset. So when you've done the trick, in order to do it again, you've got to do something. You've got to take something out of one cup, put it into another cup. It's not a long reset. It's probably about 5 or 6 seconds, maybe 10 seconds. But you couldn't do this in front of an audience. You'd have to like walk away somewhere and set it back up.
Yeah.
Once it's set back up, you have to have those cups stacked, else the gimmick will open up. So you'd have to put them maybe into your jacket pocket. So for walk around performances, this might not be the best. Because it's one moment of magic and it'll take up an entire pocket. Maybe it's better for a formal close-up show or a parlour show or something. But there's some that you need to bear that in mind as well. The biggest negative for me with this, now you get a couple of extra cups so that you can, and the tutorial is going to teach you how to make extra gimmicks. So if the gimmick breaks, it's going to teach you how to make it.
Yeah.
The problem is these cups, they're made out of real cups, and the cups are kind of flimsy. The cups that you used for this are already starting to look a bit battered up.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is, you know, you've paid 20 or 30 quid for this or whatever it is. If the cups are wrecked, they're not going to be able to work. And if they're not working, well, you've got a couple of spare cups, but after that, you're probably going to have to buy the trick again. So you're going to have to be very careful of it. That's something that you need to bear in mind.
Yeah.
It's also only one moment of magic. So it's not like a multi-phase thing, which, you know, that's not a bad thing or a good thing, but it's something that you need to bear in mind. It's one moment of magic. So there's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons. It looks really good. You could probably replicate something. Are you busy?
No.
Would you like to join in?
Yeah.
He keeps checking his watch. Are you worried?
Yeah.
He's worried because we're filming this quite late at night. And his mom said,
Yeah,
if he
a few
doesn't go...
minutes.
His mom said, if he doesn't go... Let me explain. His mom said if he doesn't get to bed by a certain time, he's not allowed to get up early in the morning and watch VR. What you don't remember, what you don't understand, is who gets you up in the morning at 5:45 to go and play VR.
Not 5:45.
5:45, I wake up to wake you up at 6.
Yeah.
So who wakes up at 5:45 to wake you up at 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Me. Your mum's ass is in bed asleep until about 7:30. So even if she tells you you can't play VR tomorrow, as long as you're quiet, she's sleeping soundly in the morning, she won't even know. So please don't worry, okay?
Okay.
Now, with that in mind, she might watch this review show, in which case both of us are screwed. So, there's lots of pros, there's lots of cons. I like it. I think it's bloody clever. If I'd have created this, I'd be happily ringing Penguin and going, oh, I've got an amazing trick to it. Oh, this is awesome. This is great. I can make a coin go from here to here. I'd be like, you've got to see this. This is killer. And I would do this. I would definitely do this in a formal close-up show. And I think there's a right time for this. I think social media, this is good as well. I just wish they'd made it out of better material. I wish they'd somehow came up with a way that isn't flimsy, like cardboard cups. If they'd come up with a way of doing it with slightly better material, I'd be happier with it. But as it stands, it's still a good trick. I'm going to give it 90%. I'd definitely do it, but it's not 100%. I wish they'd put a bit more effort into it. I think they've done it because of authenticity. They've made it look like the sort of thing a kid would make, and that therefore they've used those sort of cups. I don't know if that's the right choice, but 90% is a great trick. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I might do this. I'm gonna give it 95%.
95%.
Yeah.
Yes, he might do it. He won't do it close up. He never does close up. Do you know why? It's too much like hard work.
What?
With close up magic, you've got to walk around for 2 hours.
And?
On stage, you've just got to walk out for 20 minutes. He is lazy.
I never do that.
You're lazy. You're lazy. He's lazy.
I do 90 minutes.
He does do 90 minutes a lot. Anyway, that's the final review. Let's wrap it up.
There's a new review show in the bag. There's a new review show in the bag.
He's forgotten how to speak.
I have. That's another review show in the bag.
That's another review show in the bag. Thank you once again for joining us right here on Magic TV. Now, if you want to follow Ryland the Kid Magician, just go to Ryland the Kid Magician on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all those fun places. Also, his Instagram channel for his new illusion show will be up soon. If you want to follow Magic and Mischief, you can see what him and Thea are up to. If you want to follow me, I'm Craig Petty, _ Magic TV, whatever it is. But most importantly, check out the Netrix. It's my online streaming platform for magicians. There's thousands of ideas on there. You can just go to thenetrix.com.
Cookies.
I'm not ignoring you right now. And you can see what all the fuss is about. But I want to say thank you so much for watching. I am going to see you again soon. He's going to see you again soon. I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
And we'll see you again right here on Magic
TV.
TV.